Hey scrappers, if you're looking to figure out what materials you should sell this week or hold this week, now is the time to do it. Our weekly report is going to give you that information, up-to-date market news, pricing. Let's get right into it and we'll talk about it inside. Hey scrappers, Tom here, and today is Wednesday, May 1st, 2024. Can't believe that we're already 4 months into the year. It really is just crazy how fast things really go, and what a crazy week it's been in the world of scrap. It's really been a very tumultuously weird week. I don't know how to describe it. I mean, we saw copper prices hitting daily uh 52-week highs for 3 or 4 days in a row since we spoke last Wednesday. Since we spoke last Wednesday, we saw copper prices go up to a trading number of $4.67. And now we've gone back down to a trading number of 452. So in 1 week, we've really probably seen 60 to 70 cents of swings if you look at it on a day-to-day level. And that's not good, right? That shows instability in the market. That shows questions on what's going on. That shows instability in the worldwide markets, and a couple of things that are going on that are affecting those copper prices. Today, the Federal Reserve has a meeting. Many of you may not follow the Federal Reserve, but they dictate the interest rates, and those interest rates heavily influence how businesses borrow money or grow, because a lot of businesses, while many people think, oh, they all have billions of dollars to invest or millions of dollars, a lot of them are borrowing money because their cash flow isn't strong enough to warrant massive growth. So when we see interest rates going up, that means that it's going to cost companies more money to borrow money, which means they may not invest as quickly, which means they may not be building something or expanding, which means they're not going to need as many metals and commodities. And that's how the interest rate affects the markets. So in the last week, with a massive, up and down swing, a lot of people sold, right? A lot of people got some nice prices. We saw $4 Bear Bright reported in many areas. In fact, my yard is paying $4 a pound for Bear Bright. But after the 15-cent price drop between yesterday and today, you are going to see yards starting to drop a little bit. Here you can see Bear Bright averaging at 352. Our current price at Rockaway Recycling is $4, but you can see on there $4.28, 384, 367, 370, 380, some strong Bear Bright numbers. And that just goes to the market kind of, having a crazy swing. We've seen a 70-cent swing in the last month and a half, and that just isn't common. And I've said this for years. We don't like big swings. That's why I am recommending sell what you have, right? Don't sit here and hold on it. There's a couple of areas for you to make some more money on. Some people have been asking about copper wire, and we have and they're asking what's worth stripping, what's not worth stripping. Copper wire is one of those things that we've really dedicated a lot of time to. And if you go to our YouTube page or any of the articles that we've written, there's a bunch of articles showing you what wire strippers we recommend. Also, a bunch of articles showing you what material we recommend stripping or just shipping as it is. And knowing what to spend time on is really important when it comes to upgrading your scrap. So check out some of those videos and kind of go from there. And these weekly reports and then the daily prices, really, they're just going to help you learn where the market is today. I know that not everyone's going to hold material for 12 months, but it's still nice to know what's going on in the markets, because I do look at a bunch of stuff, so I like to share these things week to week. Let's skip to steel prices. Steel unchanged week over week. A couple of articles I read talked about the amount of iron ore that's being pushed out of Australia. One of the big things that we're going to continue to look at is the disruptions that we could potentially have in China with the tariffs tripling on the steel and zinc, and that could affect the market. Steel prices week over week, relatively unchanged. We're really not seeing super high or low numbers. Our shred is generally our bellwether. Here you go, 156. So if you look at the last few days, 7 cents, 150, 157, 7 cents, 8 cents, 145. There it is. There's your average, 150. Light iron shred is kind of where you are. The only item you may want to hold right now is rotors, and that's just because they're heavy and dense. I know that my scrapyard pays a premium on rotors when you have a few hundred pounds of them or more, as do most scrapyards. So you really want to watch out. So if you are in the car business or you have a couple of customers that are car guys, holding rotors is a good thing. Couple of suggestions: 55-gallon drums with holes underneath, really good. And you may be able to use like an engine carrier, pick that up and put it on your truck. But if you don't do that, it might be worth your time buying a trailer to be able to store some barrels on. So as you sort material, they're already on the trailer. So when you hook it up to go to the scrapyard, you can just bring those things pre-done, and the scrapyard can use their tools, their forklifts, etc., to get that material off. One thing that we've seen done, some scrapyards will give customers steel 55-gallon drums. And the reason is because they put those on their trailers or in their trucks. From there, they load them with rotors. When they get to the yard, what happens? The magnet hits the top of the 55-gallon drum, or the grapple pulls the whole thing off. They deduct the 30 pounds for the steel because they gave it to the customer. Less work, less room for error, less safety, or more safety, I should say. And less accidents. So just something to keep in mind. I'd hold those rotors right now. But I'm looking at these steel prices and trying to figure out what's going to go on with the oil and gas prices as we go into Memorial Day, as we go into the 4th of July and the busy time of the summer. We are expecting these fuel prices to increase, which means the cost of transportation. I know this is like the same thing I say, once a month, once every other week, are going to go up. If those prices go up, they're going to be reflected on the steel side, and we're not going to see an increased growth on the steel pricing right now. I just don't see that happening. That being said, in the United States, there are multiple furnaces being built right now to recycle and melt steel. Why is that important? If tariffs are put onto Chinese steel, and the US is continuing to build more steel furnaces to recycle and produce our own steel, steel and other metals can constantly be reused. That's the beauty of recycling. Reduce, reuse, recycle. So if we have more steel mills in this country, what does that mean? We're going to rely on less new production steel coming from India, Turkey, and China into the US. We're going to be able to keep more of the material here, which is going to cut down on some freight costs because now there's not going to be barges. And what it's going to do is going to open up better pricing to the middle part of the country in ways that are not seen today. And what do I mean? East Coast, West Coast, it's easier to move scrap because of the opportunity of barges and loading large amounts of material. Interior of the country, you're not loading barges because you're not on a big river or a big ocean to be able to ship it out and export it. So more steel staying in the country is going to result in higher prices at a point because we're going to have less transportation. Some people also say that it could just lead to a more stable market because now we don't have to rely on large price swings or large transport or outside material coming in. So it's going to be an interesting scenario that's going to unfold over the next few years. But we'll continue to monitor that and report on that as we get more information in. Now, one of the markets that's really confused me is nickel and stainless. Stainless prices have gone down 3 or 4 cents per pound on the 304 side. Nickel prices have gone up 5 to 7% over the last few weeks. Yet traders that I've talked to say that we don't see an increased pricing or demand for nickel. So here we are, stainless steel 304. Look at some of the prices: 40 cents, 35, 20, 42, 35, 40, right? These all are very consistent over the last 30 days, just showing a very consistent stainless scrap market. But we don't see a large increase, even though nickel prices are moving upwards. Why is that? I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know what to tell you because if if the base metal goes up in trading value and the refined product, stainless, that could be recycled, goes down, doesn't that confuse you? If prices are trading up, but inventory and demand is going down, Why are prices going up for the new production? It just doesn't make sense. So that's one of the materials that I'm kind of recommending to hold for a little while because 33 cents a pound is not a high price. Your upswing is a good 10 to 15 cent upswing if it happens. You probably don't get as much stainless as you do aluminum, steel, or copper. So it's worth holding. And if you have that trailer, another great area to be able to hold on to some of those materials. Now, Catalytic Converters brought to you by rrcats.com, continuing to provide free shipping on all OEM catalytic converters. And we always waive PayPal fees over $200 and price lock for 10 business days. My daughter's beautiful art. So, what's going on with the catalytic converter markets? Continuing to see a lack of demand, continuing to see an oversupply of cars, continuing to see national averages staying steady throughout the first 4 months of this year. When we look at these prices through rrcats.com for some different grades, they really haven't changed because we haven't seen much market movement. In the last week, platinum up 4%, palladium down 6%, rhodium flat. So you're looking at things that are just balancing each other out, and it seems like every other week, platinum's either up and palladium's either down, or palladium's up and platinum's down, and we're not having any type of growth. We're not having any type of market breakthroughs. We don't need any of these metals in some of the semiconductors like we would need them in catalytic converters. And it's really causing a bit of a problem when it comes to the scrap prices because there's not going to be any type of growth coming that we see, especially with the administration that's currently in office predicting that we're going to see a 2% decrease in gas car sales year over year, continuing moving forward. That 2% will grow as electrification grows, as electric vehicles become cheaper, as more people adapt them and buy them. Less catalytic converters are needed. So this is a really tough market. And while it's good to hold onto your catalytic converters because it might have a nice price bump up, it's always nice to be able to flip them, and working with rrcats.com, hopefully you can get some solid prices and some free shipping. It makes it a nice smooth process. Other markets, aluminum. Listen, let's go into aluminum markets because aluminum prices have been very, very strong. And I highly suggest selling aluminum. And we have all types of articles and blogs talking about separating aluminum, upgrading aluminum. Aluminum is one of my favorite items to upgrade. I do it at Rockway Recycling. We save a bunch of stuff, we process it, and we upgrade it. You can make a lot of money upgrading aluminum, and sometimes you can triple or double what you would have gotten just by upgrading it. What do I mean? A dirty lawnmower with steel attachments. We have videos on that. Take the attachments off. Instead of a dirty aluminum mixed with steel price at 10 cents, you get a cast aluminum price at 45 or 50 cents. That's 3 to 4 times the money. Now, yes, technically it's probably less than that because you're losing the weight of the steel, but by upgrading that piece of aluminum from that lawnmower, that grill, which are going to be plentiful right now in spring cleanups, that's going to allow you to create clean material. That's going to allow you to make more money. As we can see here, some of the aluminum prices up, up, up. We'll look at sheet aluminum, kind of the bellwether of the pricing. We're seeing that price jumping to close to 47, close to 50 cents, averaging 47, 42, 50, 52, 50. So markets are growing. We see increased pricing on this, which is really nice. And the demand seems to be there as these markets tick up, opposite of nickel, where, the demand isn't there, but the prices are ticking up on the trading side. At least aluminum is following suit, which is really great thing to see. What we've seen in the last, I'm just looking at some comments. We just dropped a new video on Carbide on YouTube, and a lot of people are learning about Carbide for the first time. Now, Carbide is a alloy that's not going to be commonly found outside of machine shops. I don't have any Carbide tips inside of my house for any of my DeWalt tools or something like that. Um, Machine shops have Carbide. rrcarbide.com shows you what things look like, shows you the pricing, and rrcarbide.com has free shipping for Carbide. So if you're looking to learn more about it, Virginia, if we could pull the website up, we'll show you where you can learn more about Carbide. We'll show you where you can learn more about the free shipping and some of the free options, because Carbide could lead you to some specialized metals like Inconel and others. You're not going to find it often. So let me just repeat that. You're not going to find these metals often. But when you do, we can say, yeah, that's perfect. Go down a little bit. When you go to this page, and we'll put a link to it, it's going to show you different materials. It's going to show you prices that you can hover on, and it's going to show you how to ship these things for free. Now, RR Carbide is buying high-speed steel, carbide, and tungsten alloys, providing free shipping for these. And if you don't know what they are, please check it out. High-speed steel is different than cold or hardened steel, which is your normal drill bits. High-speed steel has small amounts of precious metals in them, which could make the price between 15 and 65 cents, but they're not normal drill bits. They normally have M1, M2 stamped on them, or HSS, but go to rrcarbide.com to learn about some of these things so you can learn. Now, people have been talking on some of the Facebook groups about offloading their piles of copper. That's why we put these prices out there. That's why we have these price alerts and push notifications on the app. So if you haven't downloaded it, download it. So when those big price jumps happen like they did last week, we notified tens and tens of thousands of people of these price increases, and many of you took advantage of that. So make sure you have the app on there, notifications enabled, to give you the ability to learn about the markets and make more money with some of these price alerts that we push out there. So carbide, lots of different grades. Check out rrcarbide.com. Looking for other prices. Our metals page on iScrap has lots of them. Give us your questions, videos you want, materials you want us to discuss, other things that I haven't talked about that you want us to integrate. Let us know. I'd be happy to do it. Until next week, scrappers, I'm Tom, and I'll scrap you later.
Thanks for watching our video. For $2.99 a month, by becoming a member, you can get access to early videos, member-only videos, merchandise discounts from our store, and priority comments that we answer before answering any other scrappers. Click the link below to learn more. Until next time, scrap you later.